First, report on the diocesan convention delegates. The first three names are your delegates, and Sharon is the first alternate. So congratulations to them. Thank you all. There we go. I need to start at a very obvious place, but maybe not so obvious to some of you because you don't see all the work that happens behind the scenes. So I want to thank some people. I want to thank first my clergy, Father Lee, Paulette, Father Harry. Just knowing that if I'm not here, things are still going to happen, knowing that there is professional pastoral coverage no matter what is a wonderful thing, and we're definitely blessed to have the three of them as part of this church, and I thank them all very, very much. I can honestly say this has been the hardest working vestry we've had since I've been here. They have dealt with a lot and worked hard to bring about positive changes in the parish, and I just, I don't know if we could have gotten where we've gotten to without them. So your vestry deserve a round of applause. There's another group, and you may not even know this group exists. And I guess the best name for them is pseudo-staff. They're here every Tuesday for a meeting. They help plan. They help do things. The gentleman in the booth, Ed Brown. Wendy Daleman, Tom Brown, Don, and then, of course, the rest of the paid staff. And we are so hopeful this year that we'll get a little bit over the hump and make that next big hire that will make everybody's life better. We can't wait till everybody has space in an office. Father Lee, I don't know if you've been in his office. It's really nice. It's a desk squished between Jane, our parish administrator, or our parish financial person, and Candy, our parish administrator. And so if he has to have a meeting, he has to work around when I have meetings, so the one office that we have between us can be used. It's been a challenge, but as things have picked up here and the need for staff has increased, we have not kept up. So be nice to your church staff, please, and give them a hand if you would. All right, I want to talk about, today is kind of the end of, well, it's not really the end, but as we started back in the fall with the vision of a long line of love. And we started thinking about where we've been, we talked about where we're going, and the Task Force for Growth under Don's capable direction has not only come up with what needed to happen, but made many of those items happen. And there's a technical theological word I want to introduce. I mean, it's a word you've heard, but you might not know exactly its full meaning. The word is providence. Providence comes from two words in the Greek, pro meaning before and video to see. And providence is God seeing ahead to an end and moving things around a little bit so that all the right things are available when they need to be. Now, Providence is like, somebody said that Tiger Woods was one of the luckiest putters they'd ever seen. And the reason he's so lucky, of course, is because he's so good. And if you're good enough to get it close to the hole, sometimes it will fall in. And sometimes if you work really hard and do the right things and pray and really seek God's will, things begin to line up. We have been wonderfully blessed in the past with things lining up in a way we couldn't have asked for or imagined. And now, going forward, it's continuing to happen. So, as Don mentioned, we're going to have a facility that will help us reach out to more families with children and also to adults. I don't know how many of you remember the Linton program where we crammed 40 or 50 people into the room. We have a room. That's our nursery. We have a room that is our lower elementary ed classroom. We have a room that is our upper elementary classroom. We have a room that is our adult education classroom. We have a room that is also storage. We have a room. And it's hard to build a ministry when you don't have the facilities you need. So I'm excited about that. With that will, of course, come the need for people. And we are looking very hard at the next person that we hire as being one of those people who can do more than one thing and help with the Christian education portion of life and also help with the administration, the PowerPoints, the bulletins, all those things that when you come in Sunday, believe it or not, somebody did that. It just doesn't happen. And we have some people working. So that, of course, at the same time, we have been challenged because we are right at the edge of being solvent in terms of doing a balanced budget. Now, we said 3 years ago that we were going to take 5 years to get to a balanced budget. We got there sooner. We said that it was important that we not worry so much about the numbers that we forget to do ministry, and we've done a really good job. And they've already been mentioned once, but I'll mention them again. The Tullivers have done a great job with the welcoming committee and bringing not losing the ones that God brings us. And that's an important thing to pay attention. And we've done some of those things that we said we were going to do in terms of cleaning up how we present stuff, making sure there's transparency in all the finances. And all of these things are like being a lucky putter. We've done good practices, we've done the right things, and what happens is that people notice and good things happen. So Carrie mentioned it earlier. We got a bequest this year. It was a preliminary bequest out of an estate, and they sent us $30,000, and that helped balance this year's budget and next year's budget. That took care of all of it. And now, you want to be careful. For your operating income, you need to live off of what comes in the plate as much as possible. Obviously, we're in a transition phase, we're in a growth phase. That's not going to be wholly possible at this time. But that someone would think enough of us to do that. So that was really good news, and we were all really happy, and I think you all should be really happy that somebody thought enough of us to do that. Then someone else thought enough of us to do that also. We got a second bequest. It hasn't arrived yet, but we're expecting a bequest this year of $60,000, and that's really exciting. And then we got the letter from the first bequest saying we're ready to make the major disbursement, are you okay if we go ahead and send out the major bulk of it? We'll leave a little back for stuff. And we said, sure. We said, and how much would that be? And they said, well, that'll be $250,000. Now, the last time we got $250,000, we took our time. We appointed a task force for growth because that money was originally meant to spur growth, so that seemed like the appropriate thing to do. We asked people to think and pray on how to use the money from the Ruskin sale, and you can see how we've done. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to be very careful because in His providence, God has, I think, given us a shot in the arm, said, I like what you're doing, keep it up. Just in case you were worried about the future, let me calm you down just a bit. And let me assure you that as long as you are bringing the kingdom, my kingdom, to South Shore, I'll have your back. And it's a good thing when God has your back, I think. So we're going to take the task force for growth, and they're going to become a subset of a much larger visioning group, still unnamed. Did you come up with a name yet?
Not a good
I didn't come up with it. So we're taking recommendations. Long-range planning just doesn't cut it. That's not good enough. But it's about visioning and taking the vision and putting it into practice. So we're going to think, we're going to pray hard, we're going to look forward. One of the things that I think we will do going forward is use a little bit of that as seed money for positions. And ideally, when I've done that in the past, what I'd like to do is put enough money in the kitty so that the person can be assured of 3 years. So the first year, you probably fully fund the position. The next year, you funded it 75 or 50%. In the final year, 50 or 25%. And then in the fourth year, it should be self-sustaining. As we continue to grow, as our giving continues to grow, I think we can look at adding to the staff, adding to the ministry, and most of all, making a difference for God here in South Shore.